Now, there was this one kid who was not paying attention, and he turned around to see my pillow come and smoke him right in the face. And as soon as it hit him, this kid dropped to the floor out cold. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Youth Group Chronicles. Joining me here on the show once again, I have Jalen Smolin.
Yes, sir. Such an honor, man. This is so much fun.
Yeah, good to have you here, man. You know, we've had you on for a couple episodes previously. I always like to hear, are there stories that you're like, wow, that was worse than all the other ones I've heard so far as a guest host here?
It's tough. There's so many of them. There's so many, and they just keep topping each other. The first thing that comes to mind is the stink bug, dude. Eating a stink bug's pretty savage.
Yeah, there was someone wrote in on TikTok Live, and they said I don't remember who it was, like a youth kid or one of their friends ended up eating a stink bug because they were dairy. That's nasty.
Well, the story was that people were eating worms and all these things, and then jump to the stink bug. That's another level, man.
So gross. All right, every week we get email submissions, so we will go through a few of those. And if this is your first time listening to the show, you can send in any of your stories from youth ministry to ygchronicles@gmail.com. I will preface, we're looking for some funny ones. We're looking for some fails. We're looking for some kids getting hurt. The wild, crazy things that happen at youth group that you're like, dang, someone else needs to hear about this besides the 40 kids in our youth group.
Yeah, I want Sam to tell a story and just the guest to be speechless. Have nothing to say. Just done.
I will say that has happened a couple times when I've had Isaiah on the show.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no comment. He's like,
nothing.
Nope.
Yeah. What do you say?
What do you say to that? Without further ado, first email submission is from Rad Family 2010. When I was in high school, my youth group took our annual trip to a Christian summer camp in the mountains. It was an endless prank war between the girls and the boys' cabin with mostly harmless humor, until one fateful summer. During the night, some of the boys snuck into the girls' bathroom and wrapped a toilet with cling wrap and then smeared the top with Vaseline. Now, unfortunately for them, their victim was an older lady who was chaperoning the trip.
Oh my gosh.
She went to the bathroom late at night, sat down, and then slid off the toilet onto the concrete floor.
Oh my gosh.
Thankfully, she wasn't injured, but that was the end of prank wars at camp.
Dude, an old lady, that could be the end of her. That could be a serious injury.
That would be over. Imagine like a broken pelvis or something like that.
You're done. That's the danger of pranks, though. It's always just the one kid. It's always like the next level. Yeah.
There's been a rule at the summer camp I grew up at. No pranks. It just gets too much.
It gets too much, yeah.
And then I think there's this one year where the pranks were so bad that a fist fight legitimately broke out.
Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember what it was over, but it was just, it boiled over at that point.
Yeah.
And it just got, this cabin would do a prank to this one, and then this cabin would do a prank, and it just got worse and worse and worse to where it was just a fight.
I feel like it has something to do with poop.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance that could have happened.
Yeah.
Now, did it? I'm not sure, but there's like a 90% chance. Elijah G wrote in and said, here's why we never had a pillow fight at camp again. I was the head counselor at my church camp, and I worked prior as a counselor, but never the head counselor. One day, the boys in our cabin wanted to have a pillow fight. The one rule I had was no one hit me. So naturally, the first thing these boys do is start pummeling me with their pillows.
For sure.
So I packed my pillow all the way down to the bottom and started swinging at these kids.
Oh, no.
They were flying left and right as I swung my pillow towards them. I was even lifting them off the ground. Now, there was this one kid who was not paying attention, and he turned around to see my pillow come and smoke him right in the face. And as soon as it hit him, this kid dropped to the floor out cold. Fear came over me as the leader because I didn't know if I killed him or not, and he just laid there on the floor unconscious. The other counselor tried to pick him up but failed because he was too heavy. Soon after that, the kid came to and all was well. And I shared with the pastor and his wife, in our daily briefing, and they both just shook their heads in disappointment and said no more pillow fights ever again. I served at the camp for 4 more years, and we never had a pillow fight.
Dude, KO?
KO. Straight up KO'd him.
That is insane. You just knocked out one of your kids?
Literally. It's probably the one kid that wasn't actually participating, the innocent kid.
Yeah.
Over to the side, chuckling, turns around, smoked him right
minding his business. Yeah, actually the well-behaved kid.
He probably had one of those really heavy duty memory foam pillows, because we had those growing up. Killer in pillow fights.
Yeah.
Like, you would smoke kids. So I bet it was something like that, where it was just ungodly heaviness in this pillow, more than it should have been, and it turned into a prison fight at that point.
That's insane. Couldn't even imagine a pillow would just knock somebody cold out.
I mean, if you don't see it coming and you snap your neck the right way
with a grown man,
for sure,
just
swinging it.
Yeah,
dang, man.
We know a couple youth pastors that would do that.
Yeah, we do know a few. This was also from Rad Family 2010. They said, we played some epic games at our youth group during our winter retreats. One of the favorites was a Bible quiz tournament. When your team answered correctly, you got a treat like a candy bar or marshmallows. And if you answered wrong, you had to eat things like sardines or jarred baby food. So one of the teams got a question wrong, and they had to pick a team member to eat a cup of mayo. Now, one of the youth leaders challenged him to a mayonnaise eating race to see who could finish it first. Now, all the leaders were in on this joke, but the leader had pudding and the student had mayo. So they started eating, and you could tell the student was like struggling to get this mayonnaise down, but he was still motivated to beat the adult who was just over there, eating it no problem at all.
Yeah.
Eating, the quote mayo. And it was a terrible idea that ended up with the student puking his guts out all over the carpet of the chapel. Long story short, we never played that game again.
Poor kid. Vanilla pudding, huh? That's smart, actually.
That is so smart.
That's
so smart.
The kid was going to town. He's just watching, like, what in the world?
How is he eating it so fast?
Oh, no.
Let's see here. Frodo FHU 401 is on TikTok Live. He said, tears are always the goal.
Yeah.
Hey, you must be a youth pastor, bro, if that's true, because that must be on the resume as well.
Entertainment for the youth pastors.
Yes. I think he's referring, what is that, to the pillow fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, if tears are not there, then you're not a youth pastor at that point. What are you doing?
You're not really having fun. Until somebody cries.
You're not having fun until a kid's crying.
Yeah.
Because then it's hilarious. If you're listening to this on TikTok Live and you have some stories you want to send in, email them to ygchronicles@gmail.com. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, a few weeks from now, we're on TikTok Live. You can see some of these podcasts before we even put them out. You can comment some stuff live, get a shout out. We'd love to have you. So this story is from Brad E. He said, my biggest youth ministry fail was when I played a song in our series opener with a major cuss word, and I didn't notice until the final week of the series. Bro, some series go like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
He just has an F-bomb dropping in the song in front of all the kids, and no one probably said anything.
Yeah. Was it? I want to know if it was on Pandora or Spotify. One of those.
No, I don't think it. He said it was the series opener, so I bet it was their video clip.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they had the song playing in the background of the video clip every single week to get hype the kids up before the sermon. And then
just an F-bomb or something.
Yeah,
that's what my mind's going to.
Yeah, literally, just like all the way to the worst word possible, and like. I guarantee it was something like that.
The kids knew the whole time and were looking forward to it.
Didn't even tell them.
Don't tell them.
Don't tell them. Yeah, it's just like the last week of the whole series, you figure out what's going on. Can you imagine, like, when he realized? He's probably like, I can just picture the pastor in front of all the kids. He's like clicking on his iPad. He puts it on the podium. He hears the video in the background, and he's like, "Wait, what? What was that?" And you just see him like turn around the screen really quick and realize what he did.
That's been the whole time.
How did I not hear that? It's week 7 of the series.
All right, let's open this up in prayer.
Because we need it at this point.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Joseph B. said, my biggest youth ministry fail was when I did a science project illustrating David beating Goliath. In my illustration, one teen was supposed to squeeze a Coke bottle and see how high they could get the stream of Coke. And the other one had Mentos. So you put the Mentos in and see how high that one go. So he said it was supposed to represent faith. But unfortunately, the Coke representing Goliath, which the kid squeezed, went higher than the Coke that had the Mentos. So it totally like ruined his whole illustration. He said, basically my illustration portrayed Goliath beating David.
Yeah. Last minute improvisation. Yeah.
I couldn't capitalize on it, so I just had to end class early at that point.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's a little embarrassing. What do you do?
Can you imagine just like so hype for this illustration, and then you're just like, okay, now that's how high it went with just someone squeezing it. And that's Goliath. Now here's how far, this is how high your faith can go when you put your faith in God. like 2 feet in the air. So anticlimactic.
I just imagine him in the car, and he's just like, man, I had 3 pages of notes on this. He was like, this is going to be some fire. That's great.
Super hyped for it. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Sydney T said, my biggest youth ministry fail was when the time that we had a really emotional service talking about the words that had been thrown at us as people. What we did is we had the kids physically write down the words on them, like with washable markers.
Yeah.
And they would walk around and people would get to see like what people have said to them in their lives. It was just so people could see like what you're struggling with and let them know that they're not alone, which, you know, it's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
And she said it was cool because the kids, like she said, could see how their peers were affected by things that they had said. She said, however, the markers weren't washable. And the kids spent the rest of the retreat covered in very terrible words and phrases for the entire weekend.
Oh my gosh.
Just a heads up, definitely test the markers before you're saying.
Yeah.
All I picture is like these kids up and down their arms. You're a failure.
Yeah.
Worst kid ever. I hate you. And they had to wear it all weekend long.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the worst words. Just all up and down their arms, legs. Yeah.
My parents hate me. Oh, literally.
I hate my mom.
And then
I actually love your mom.
Yeah. And then you can't get it off. Absolutely horrible.
That's terrible.
Frodo FHU401 said, I once confused the word extort with exhort. And an entire sermon I said we need to extort each other over and over and over. What's the difference between those two words? Do you know?
Extortion is putting somebody out there, you know. Yeah. And then encouragement.
Okay, yes.
So I could definitely see that being a problem. Yeah.
See why you guys need to be on TikTok live with us?
Yeah.
This is fun.
Vocabulary. Come on.
Yeah, there you go. I need your help. This is what I get for being homeschooled.
He actually was homeschooled.
Yeah, I was. Everyone knows at this point. I've said it way too many times. Crystal T. My biggest youth ministry fail was when I had a teen fall through the ceiling during hide and seek, and the only reason she didn't get majorly injured was because the sound wires caught her fall.
Wow.
The kid fell through the ceiling. That's dedicated. They were hiding in the ceiling and then fell through. It must have been like a drop ceiling.
Yeah, how did they get up there?
I mean, maybe it was above the stage because they said the sound wires were up there.
Yeah.
So I bet there was like a crawl space.
Dude, they're dedicated to this.
Can you just imagine walking into the sanctuary and just seeing a kid like strung up by their arms, just like swinging in the wind?
Picture. Instagram.
Oh my goodness. David Pinkham said, my biggest youth ministry fail was when I ran out of gas on the interstate in South Carolina on the way to summer camp from Virginia to Florida. So like halfway, straight on the interstate, out of gas.
Terrible. Did he have any kids with him though?
I would imagine so.
Yeah, that'd make it
I am already thinking worse. Like a bus.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of too. Like a church van or something. Yeah. Oh my gosh, hungry kids just going. Yeah, not a good experience. Not
at all. Let's see what we have here. We have some more TikTok live. Someone said a kid on a youth trip drank someone's dip spit cup. Oh, that's disgusting.
That's like the worst thing.
That was user 026172211.
What youth kid was chewing dip?
Yeah, who was chewing dip? Red flag number 1. Yeah. The kid was chewing dip on the trip.
Yeah.
Red flag number 2. Someone drank it.
What kid was shooting a spitter, man? I want to know this.
Oh, no. They said it wasn't on purpose. She thought it was Coke.
Oh.
Oh, that's disgusting. While playing sardines, I had a student hide outside on the roof of the church, and I was notified by a police officer.
You might want to get your kid down.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, no. They clarified who. I think this is what they mean. We said who was chewing dip on the...
Yeah.
It was the minister.
Oh, my... Hey, this man needs salvation. We love him now.
This just kept getting worse and worse and worse. All right, guys.
It was actually the youth pastor throwing a spitter.
Oh, my goodness. Guys, if you're on TikTok Live right now, email us your stories if you have some crazy ones. We want to feature them on the show. ygchronicles@gmail.com. We would love to feature you on this podcast. This is from Juju Lily.
Yeah.
They said, oh, my gosh. During a faculty hunt, one of our faculty hid in a trash bag by the side of an access road. The police were called because a body was in the bag.
Dude, no way.
I guess they lived and didn't suffocate or anything, but that's actually wild.
Oh my gosh.
Reverend Johnson said, we once had a student who found a giant tarantula was ran over in the parking lot, and of course he ate it. Bro, kids are stupid, man.
Let me just eat this spider that was ran over. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, that's nasty, man. Ryan C. said, my biggest youth ministry fail was when I wanted to make a slip and slide really slippery. So I used baby oil. It just happened to be a 100-degree day, and the slip and slide was in the sun. I should also mention that we had lunch after dumping the baby oil on it, so I had a chance to really get warmed up at this point. We ended up needing to have a prayer and healing service for the first kid who slid down immediately afterwards because of the first-degree burns.
Oh my gosh. Ouch.
He said, you live and learn.
Yeah.
That actually sounds horrible. Imagine being so excited to go down the slip and slide and then just being boiled.
Oh my gosh. Hot oil? That's pretty much what it is.
Literally what it is, hot oil.
You're just sliding in hot oil.
And you can't get it off.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Rinse it with water?
Oh.
Oil repels water.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yikes. Reverend Johnson said the spider was huge. Yeah, I can imagine the tarantula was huge, bro.
Dude, bigger than my hand. Yeah.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I wouldn't even get near a dead one, let alone eat it. That's nasty, man. One more story here. This is from Janelle A. My biggest youth ministry fail was when we did a slip and slide on our blacktop and a kid almost broke his arm. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what you were thinking either, to be honest.
On the blacktop.
Why?
That's
Why?
Yeah. All it takes is just a little bit too much of a slide right onto the asphalt. That
Literally.
kid is getting torn up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or I can imagine they run and jump onto the slide.
Oh, yeah.
And just smack the blacktop.
Yeah.
That can't be fun either.
No.
On TikTok Live here, they were talking about the slip and slide with the oil. They said the whole time you're sliding, you're just dying. Imagine you land on the slide and it burns you, but you can't get off. Like you have to go down to the bottom and just endure the pain.
Yo, I love you. Made it so much funnier.
Torture.
You got to commit to the torture
because you can't get off. There's no stopping.
Yeah. That's great. It's not like you got to think. You touch like a hot pan. That hurts.
Yes, that hurts.
You're in boiling baby oil.
Now just picture sliding down. No, I'm sure it was a dude with no shirt.
Yeah.
Oh man, that has to hurt a lot.
Yeah.
And of course, like every slip and slide is black too. So I bet the sun absorbed, I bet it absorbs so much more heat because it's like black plastic or something.
Yeah.
That is no fun, man.
Yeah.
That is horrible. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode. This was a lot of fun. I've said it a bunch through this episode, but if you forgot for some reason, ygchronicles@gmail.com. Send us in your stories. We'd love to feature you on this show. If you're listening to the podcast, remember to check out TikTok channel. We're posting clips on there every single day from stuff you probably haven't heard on the podcast. Basically, we'll take some highlights of podcasts that haven't been released yet. We put them out there so you guys can have some content that hasn't been released yet. And then the same thing on Instagram.
Yeah.
YG Chronicles. Definitely go check it out. And the best part,
dope.
You get to see us in video form. Who doesn't want to see that?
Way better.
You get to see Jalen's pretty face.
Come on now.
Well, thanks everybody for listening, and we will see you next week.
Peace.